This week, we're going to work on getting clear in our communicating our emotions. We're going to stay grounded mentally, and we are going to finally be able to see or communicate more constructively. Hi, Michelle from Michelle P. Astrology, and this is the energies of the week of June 1st to June 7th, 2026. We start the week with Mercury entering the chat. It has moved now. It's now moved into Cancer, which is the sign of ruled by the moon, which is our emotions. So we'll be communicating more emotionally, and not like it just came out of Gemini, which is very mercurial, very mental. We think a lot. This is more of our feelings. And now that Mercury is there, and it comes to oppose the moon, which it answers to, there's a little bit of a tension. So we want to try to stay on point with what we are trying to, our points that we want to get across. We don't want to get too emotional. We want to try to stay in a constructive manner where it will be, it can make more practical conversations to move forward. And just jumping into Tuesday, things get a bit more focused. Our sun comes to sextile Saturn. Saturn is discipline, it is structure. Sun being, you can say us at this time. And so what our thoughts and communication will come to a workable place. So our emotions will be just not so sensitive, if you will, because Mercury in Cancer will bring up more sensitivity as we are trying to communicate, even if we're trying to be diplomatic or having a strong conversation. It can really soften that whole that practicality of it all. There is a little snafu midweek. We get a little unclear. Mercury comes to square Neptune, squares our attention, Mercury being our thoughts, Neptune being our dreams and our reality, our dreams and our hopes and our wishes. And the square shows that, we want, we have all these plans, we want all these things. And with Mercury squaring Neptune, sometimes it just becomes a little unclear, but you don't want it to burst your bubble. You just want to, if you don't have all the answers, that's okay. Just, do one little small step. Once again, we are still working at the incremental rebuilding of what has been dissolved in our lives or lives around us that have affected us in some way. Moving even closer to the weekend, we have the moon come to trine Uranus. Now, we know Uranus is the planet of disruption, the moon being, the moon being us, our emotions, and something, we don't ever see coming, and we've had enough emotional not seeing it coming out of the blue. But this is a trine, which is a harmonious aspect, so it could be for the better of us, the betterment for us. It could, fall in our favor. We'll get good news, or we will, we can adapt and shift a lot easier to information coming in, even if it is, things that are going for us that are working out to our benefit. We still may have to course correct some things to make that happen, so it's not like it's just, the surprise is going to come in, but it's just going to shift everything that's already been in place, and it's going to just make it better. It's still going to have a smoother outcome because of the harmonious trine between them, but we're still going to have, it's still Uranus, it's still new, it's still things we didn't know may show up. But like I said, it's not as disruptive as a typical Uranian transit can bring to surprise us. Surprise! Not always fun. We do have a lot of moon transits this week, and coming in on Friday, I feel, is a final exam testing our patience and how we respond to them. So just to leave it at that, there are the moon sextile Saturn, and then it's going to square Mars. So there's like a mixed bag, but it's so fast that we may not know how to respond. So this, I feel like, is a test. So I hope you pass. Let's just sit back on Friday, It's at the end of the week. A lot of times we're a little bit more tired than not. So, we can react a little bit easier. And with Saturn and Mars both in the mix, it's they're the planets to we tend with. I like all of them, but those are the ones that like to see how strong we are. So what came up yesterday, maybe the test, and here's your answers and your exam grade, is Moon comes to sextile Chiron. Chiron is our wounded healer, and is whenever we have old past patterns that we feel uncomfortable with, that just show up, how we deal with them is usually, you can, if you're aware or mindful, you can notice your differences in reaction or responses, or how your old triggers that would trigger you hasn't triggered you. Note those, write them down, be proud. Every little step helps. And even those small wins are wins, and we will take them all that we can as we can. And we're closing the week with the Moon coming to trine Mercury. And this is where our conversations, our words, our feelings are all in alignment, and things will come out smoother. And this is where you might be wanting to have a nice conversation, any conversation that maybe it wasn't at the top of the priority list, but it's a good day to have, because the trine, like I said, is harmonious, and the end results are usually more beneficial than any of the other challenging aspects. That's how we end the week. And I hope it works out really well for you, and that you have a great week, and we will see you next week. I hope this was helpful.